Hey, we are live. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so tickled. Yay. All
Yeah.
right, bitches, welcome to Whiskey, Women, and Wisdom, where I have a guest on every Wednesday evening to enlighten you, to help you with your finances or your mindset or anything in general. We have all types of experts that come on a weekly basis to help you just have a better life. And today we have again part two, Toni Alexznder, which is a financial coach and one of my friends. Toni, hey, welcome.
Hey, nice. Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yay.
It's
We
nice
got
not to have. Go ahead.
so many questions. So many questions came in. I had to have you back for part two
I
because there
love
were
it.
so many questions that the women had. They were DMing me. I was like, send her a message. Hell, I don't know. Just I don't know all the answers. So yeah.
Isn't that
Even
funny
though,
though? How some people are always afraid to ask the expert.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that
Yes.
funny?
And sometimes they're afraid to do it doing the broadcast because they don't want other people to see different things. So we're going to jump straight into it because I got a lot of questions from a lot of women.
Okay.
And then normally we would, shoot the shit, but today we're gonna get right into it.
Okay, I'm
So,
ready. Let's go.
okay. So one of the questions I received was, what does it take to retire?
Okay, so what does it take to retire? So it used
Mm-hmm.
to be our grandparents' time, depending on your generation, but usually grandparents, maybe your parents, it was an age. So I was retired 60 or retired 65 or whatever it is. And that was because we had pensions and we didn't have our own wealth. We depended on the government and companies to pay for our retirement. And that's also a point where people only used to work for one company their entire life.
Sure.
But now you did fast forward to now, well, what does it take to retire is a number. And that number is cash. It's a financial independence number. It's a certain chunk of change that will pay you income when you no longer earn income.
Okay.
And so it has to be something that's above and beyond what you're living off of now.
Above and beyond what you're living off of
Because
now.
think about it right now. Let's see if I'm an average person and I work at a job, God forbid, but let's say I do, right? Whew,
Mm-hmm.
I just gave myself flashes thinking about that. Whew,
Me
okay,
too.
we're just hypothetical. So just pretend. So I earn, we'll say, I don't know, $4,000 a month, bring
Mm-hmm.
home. So
Okay.
that's the income I use to fund my life. Now, when I stop working, which means I retire,
Mm-hmm.
I have to have a certain amount of income coming in, and I'm not earning income anymore.
Sure.
So what that means is if my expenses is 4,000 and I'm earning 4,000, you have no quality of life. And I've been there. Actually, I've been here for
Mm-hmm.
what I brought in and what I needed. Woo. But if you live like this, you'll never be able to stop working, which is the reality is that you eventually will be not given the choice to work anymore. And you're
Sure.
going to have to figure something out. And that's just not a good figure out. So what you
Absolutely.
want to do is have this and that extra, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but does need to be something that you're basically paying yourself forward when you retire.
Okay.
So the big answer, the short answer is this: what do you need to retire? Money. But there
Sure.
is an amount, and it's called a financial independent number.
Okay. So
And if you
explain
want to be
that.
okay,
Yeah, because I know what it is,
all right,
but explain to them what a financial independent number is, because I think
okay,
it's remarkable that you can figure that out.
it's crazy, and you wouldn't believe what it takes. Okay, so what a financial independent number is, it is that set amount that will give you a set amount of income for the rest of your life, and you'll never have to worry about earning money ever again.
Gotcha.
So let me explain what that. So that is the number that once you have it, you can tell everyone to go fuck themselves.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
But before you get that number, yes, sir. How high? Yes, sir. Of course I'll work overtime. Yes, sir. I'll be happy to train people for no freaking extra pay. Yes, sir.
Of course, I'll work on my child's birthday.
Right.
Come on now. Okay. Okay.
So
So
that's the fact.
how do you calculate that number?
Ooh. So you got to look at, because everyone's different. You look at how much money you think you need, today's dollars, and then factor in inflation. And inflation is the kicker. The inflation is what's going to kick you in the ass. Because if you think about it, if there's a 4% inflation, which is pretty reasonable. So if I gave you in 2000, St. James, if I gave you $100,000 cash in year 2000, you know how much that would buy you in 2000.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you ever bought a movie theater ticket?
Oh gosh, you're making me think. Yeah, yeah.
How much was it?
Long time ago.
How much was it?
Maybe $1.
$1. Okay, yeah, mine was $1. Mine was $1.25, right? Because I couldn't wait.
The dollar movie. We went to the dollar.
It's a dollar movie, right?
Yeah.
How much did you pay for your ticket the last time you went to a movie?
15.
Let me ask you this: do you think the cost of movies, or when you bought it for $1, would ever be $15?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And do you think the cost of movies is going to go down anytime soon?
Oh, no.
No, it's going to continue. Believe it or not, it's going to be $30. Eventually, it's going to be $60. That's inflation.
Sure.
And so if inflation's at 4%, if I use a rule called 72, what that tells me is that in 2018, if I gave you the same $100,000, it would only buy you $50,000 of life.
Okay, so there is a system that you put this information in, and it tells them exactly based on their age. So if they're 56 today, it tells them exactly, including adding inflation into the equation, how much money they need to the penny for them to retire at age 69.
And here's the crazy, and now he just thinks about 69, because I know a lot of people who retire when they're 65, 68, 67, and they have enough money.
Sure.
They get to 74 and they're broke.
Correct.
The reason why is not because their money went down, but because the purchasing power of their money went down. And so if you don't have a plan to not just have enough money when you're 69 or 62 or 60, you got to have enough money when you're 80 and 90. Because heads up, ladies, we live longer than men.
Sure. And the problem is women are outliving their money. Correct?
Yes. And here's the worst part. What choice do you have but move in with your children? And FYI, they will now treat you like you treated them the last time they lived in your house. And respectfully, you wanted to kill them and you kicked them out. So you do the math on that kind of retirement.
Yeah, I don't want that at all. Okay.
No. And you also hamstring your children.
Okay, so talking about children, I got the question. How do we teach our kids about money?
Oh, here's one thing you have to know. Money learning is more caught than taught.
Explain that.
So you can say whatever you want to say. I'll just speak testimony, right? My mama always told me, never spend more than you make and always pay your bills on time. And she would literally write a check and pay her bills, but she had her friend at the bank who would hold the checks in a file called Bonnie. And when the money finally came into the account, she'd call her and be like, we'll call her Shelby. Shelby, you can cash the checks now.
Yeah.
So our mama never paid late, but she never paid on time.
Okay, I got that. Okay. So money is taught to kids by what they see.
Correct. I remember hearing a rule one time: you never smoke a cigarette and you never drink alcohol in front of your child. I will add one more thing to that: don't ever use a credit card in front of your child.
Okay, explain.
Don't ever, because what you're teaching them, because they're going to be more caught than taught, what they're seeing is, oh, you just paid with fake money. You just pay with money that doesn't belong to you. And you're teaching them how to be in debt.
Wow. Okay. Well, Screwed that one
You
up.
asked.
No,
Right.
no, I
But here's the
appreciate
thing.
it.
But here's the thing. I also believe this, that the process that you go through from being broke, and broke to me is a mentality more than a situation.
Sure.
But if you can take yourself from being broke to doing solid things to get yourself wealthy, your kids at an older age are going to learn that. And I talk to so many people, and I always wonder, like, when people have their shit together, I always wonder, like, how did you get that? 98% of them, they say this: I don't want to do what my parents did.
Yep. Yep. I get that. I understand that. And I want my sons to be so much further up the road than I am. I don't want them to be stuck in a lot of the mental items that I've been stuck in, or have a poverty mindset because of how I was raised. And it took so long for me to dig myself out of that. So here's the big question: can women really become wealthy?
Absolutely.
You
The
believe that?
cool thing about, no, I know it because
Okay.
it's a math issue. Here's the
Okay.
truth of it: money doesn't care who owns it.
Come on now.
And
Come on now.
money, no, I'm serious. If I
Yeah. I
gave you
mean, yeah.
100, it's not going to go,
Yeah.
no, I want to stay with Tony. So
Hmm.
money will behave in the same ways in your hands, in my hands, as Warren Buffett and your broke cousin.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's
what
true.
happens is money does not respect the person, it respects the principles.
There you
So
go.
if you apply the principles, and they're not hard principles, we're not talking like don't ever get your nails, hair done, or buy your newest thing for your bike principles.
Sure.
We're talking just do some small basic steps that lead you to wealth. Yeah, there's
Okay.
no reason why we can't become wealthy. In fact, we're more designed to become wealthy than men because we're less risky with our money.
Really?
Yeah, women typically see money as stability and security.
Yes. Yes. I can
Okay,
agree with
so
that.
you know
Yes.
how we talk about the belly fat from cortisol and all those women
Yes.
deal with belly fat?
Mm-hmm.
Hold some bills in your pocket and touch cash every day, and it has been scientifically proven to lower the cortisol levels in your body.
Because having money lowers stress.
And it makes you feel good.
Ooh,
We are
it sure makes me feel
wired.
good. It
It
makes me
makes me
feel
feel
good.
good too. I
Yeah.
date my money if it had two legs.
You
But
ain't lying.
because
And
it
that's
never
another
lies.
subject. And we have to talk about that. People don't understand money is energy, and
Yes.
money is a tool. So if we can think about it those two ways, and we'll talk about it another time, but those are just great two ways to think about it. Money is a tool.
So, and I'll give an example of that, and it's kind of a joke, but this guy came in and he bought a chainsaw, like the bestest chainsaw, because he had to cut down the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back the next day all sweaty, like tore up, just gross. And he goes, "This thing doesn't work." And so the guy, the salesperson went, "Shoom, shoom." And the customer goes, "What's that?" See, he was taking a chainsaw and using it like a saw.
Oh, well, that's not the right tool for the right job.
And most of us take money that should be a chainsaw and we use it like a regular saw.
Hmm.
And we wonder why we struggle. We wonder why we're always broke. We wonder why we're always behind. We wonder why there's a psychic connection between our check engine light and our savings account
Sure.
because we
We
don't know
just,
how to use the tool.
correct. Is it too late? Is it ever too late in order to start investing?
It's never too late to start investing, but there is a point of no return where you're too old to start to retire.
Ooh,
I actually,
okay. That's pretty
I've,
deep.
and I'm going to just be real here, but I've met with clients that are in their 60s, late 60s. They're getting ready to retire, and they had less than $25,000 saved.
You know, here's the thing: our parents only teach us what they know, and if your
Right.
parents don't understand how money works, typically they can't teach you how to do it. They can't teach you, and then the cycle continues on, and you can't teach your kids either. So, in retrospect, the sooner we start, the better we will be.
Absolutely. And I think, too, ultimately, it's about no longer being a victim.
Hmm.
I think that we've all had points where we don't feel worthy. We've made stupid mistakes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
$107,000 in credit
Oh
card
yeah.
debt.
Yeah.
Hello. Like
Hmm.
all of that stuff we've done.
Sure.
And we beat ourselves up about it. But I really believe the key to having more your wealth is
Hmm.
forgiving yourself and
Mm.
moving on.
Oh, that's deep. Yeah. Forgiveness is really big, regardless of what subject you're applying it to. That's
But
real big.
and money's not exempt from that. Wealth is not exempt from that.
Hmm.
Because if our sense of worth allows us to become wealthy, or our lack of sense of worth prevents us
Hmm.
from becoming wealthy, our ability
Hmm.
to forgive ourselves. But here's the thing. So I talked to a woman, she was 67 years old. She wanted to retire. She had less than $25,000 in savings. Guess what she did? She got a side hustle,
There you go. Come
and
on
she
now.
earned $110,000 in a year because she was going to be damn sure that she was not going to be dependent upon her kids. And the side hustle became her main hustle, but because she could do it from home, because she did it on her own terms,
Sure.
she could continue doing that. And because she was her own boss, she was not going to be required to retire.
Sure. So even though she started in the game late, she's able to pick up and then get some traction because now she's her own boss and she's earning
Exactly.
significantly more than she was on her job.
Exactly. And I'm
And
going to
that's
be honest
good.
with you, women are more designed for that than men.
Come on now.
Men get really
Come on.
I'm saying this, they get positioned and this is what I do. Like I used to
Hmm.
talk to carpenters and they go, yeah, I'm a carpenter. When's the last time you worked? I haven't worked for 6 years. Well, then become something else. Because obviously the carpentry thing is not working for you right now.
Sure.
But they'd rather stay home and wait for the carpentry job because they get stuck. See, women, we are designed to make things meet and to get it done. We don't care.
Hmm.
Like, who wants to clean up a poopy diaper? No one does, but we
Right.
do it. Who wants to clean up from children? No one does, but we do it. Why?
Hmm.
Because we're designed for that. And so because of that, we're more open to opportunity. We're actually better entrepreneurs. We make
I
better
like to think
connections
so.
with
I
people. We have better person.
yes.
Yes, like
Yes. Come on.
seriously.
Keep going. Keep going.
This
I
is
tell
it,
these
man.
women
This
this.
is
I tell
it.
them.
Because people are like, like, no, women, we are connectors, we are
Yes.
communicators, we network. And
Yes.
that is the key secret sauce of any successful business, period.
Yes, yes, I agree, and I tell them
Period.
that all the time. I do. Okay, so yeah, okay, so we're gonna move on. How can
Okay.
I rescue my credit score? Credit
Okay.
score.
Credit score. All right. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip. Now, everyone's journey is different, but I'm going to give you, in order to, I'm not going to say rescue, I'm going to say master.
Okay.
Because a credit score is a algorithm formula from a computer.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
That's why
very
they
good.
can prevent you from getting the job because of your credit score, because it's all done by computer. There is no human intervention when it comes to credit scores.
Okay.
So you need to understand what makes your credit score, and it's 6 things. It is, how long have you had credit for?
Okay.
How much of your credit are you using? Example, I have $1,000 credit limit. I'm at 900. That's not good.
Yeah.
But if I'm at 1,000 and I'm using 20, that's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How
Absolutely.
often do I pay my bills? Am I good on time? Do I have activity? Well, here's a secret. If you stop using your credit cards and stop having a balance, I'm going to give you a secret clue, but that actually counts against you. If you cancel your cards, all of these now count against you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't close. And I know, like Dave Ramsey, like don't have. You know what? That man has never had to work for somebody else for his whole freaking life. He's been a real estate agent. He was a real estate broker. He was a financial person who couldn't get licensed, and he's been a TV show. He's never worked for somebody. He does not know that it affects every single thing that has the word insurance in it, and it affects your job.
There you go.
So
Absolutely.
forth. So, and then
Okay.
the fifth one is, how many different types of lines of credit do you have? Do you have a mortgage? Do you have an installment payment? Do you have a card note? Do you have a credit card? Do you have a charge card, which is like a Macy's or Home Depot or something like that? And the last thing is, how often have you been looking for credit recently?
Those inquiries.
Right. Hard inquiries. So you
Yeah,
check
them damn
yourself.
things there. Yep.
So here's what you do. If you really, really, really want to help your credit score and all 6 factors, this is what I tell you to do. when you pay off a card, give them $5 more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wonder, St. James, this is going to close down your Facebook.
Come on.
Because this is an inside secret. So what happens is, so you pay off Chase. You give them $5 more than what you owe them. So now they owe you $5. What does that do? It has a balance on your card, which shows activity without you using it. It shows you have more credit available to you than you've been approved for. It shows that you always pay your bills on time.
Very good.
It shows that you keep your credit. So out of the 6 factors, it helps you with 4. If you do that one thing, and every time you pay off and I can give you a simple plan on how to pay it off. You don't go into debt to get out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
Have a plan. Call me. I'll give that to you because this is a personal ministry for me. But do that and you're going to be great and you're going to watch. And here's the thing. When you start doing that, your credit score gets better. You start getting all of these offers and all of your existing credit card numbers now give you an increased limit, which now increases how much you have available to you, which now exponentially helps grow your credit score.
Come on now.
I went from a 515 to an 810 using this rule.
I think that is awesome. That is freaking awesome. Okay, so ladies, look,
call
her if you have questions or whatever else. Okay, so I have questions about insurance. So ladies, if you want to know where these questions came from, the last time Toni was on here, some of the women put some of the questions on here, like Wanda, we're going to get to your question also. But a lot of times they put their questions on here. And then after the broadcast was over with Toni, they start flooding me with DMs about questions. I was like, well, where the hell were you on the broadcast? So, okay. So one of the questions that came in was, why does everyone talk about insurance? Is it really important? Okay. I'm going to let you start on that one.
All right. So here's the deal with insurance. Any kind of insurance. But I'm going to go very specifically for 2.
Okay.
But let's talk about what is the purpose and the role of insurance. Insurance is renting wealth. It rents wealth when you can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it needs to be, so you have to build up your wealth while you have insurance so you no longer need it anymore.
Okay.
So here's an example. Accident insurance, auto insurance. I call it accident insurance because it should be, because that's what happens when you get into an accident.
Sure.
So here's the truth of it. No matter who you are, I don't care if you're Jeff Bezos. If you got into a car accident with someone else, no one on this planet has enough money to pay for everything that could happen.
Sure.
Because they'll get sued for everything they have.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have auto insurance for that. Another type of insurance. I'm going to talk about 3. Accident insurance for riders.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, brass and tacks, you statistically are higher and getting in an accident when you're on a bike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period. And it's not your fault. Because people are idiots on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that, do you have enough cash in your accounts to pay for your loss of income, your medical bills, your medications, your physical therapy, your equipment you're going to need, and whatever damages collaterally that you have to pay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And replace your bike.
Yep. Because here's the thing. We don't realize it until it's too late.
And that's another thing about insurance. All kinds of insurance. You can't just go out and buy it. You have to qualify for it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are situations. So I'll do my last one, which is life insurance, right? Which is a misnomer. It should be called death insurance. But here's the reality of it is, of all of them, that is the most final, and it is the guaranteed one. And you don't realize what we leave behind. It's not about funeral. The funeral is the minus part of it. It is 6 months from now when I still have to pay my mortgage. It's 7 months from now when the kids need more new clothes and they have to go to school and I can't pay the property tax bill and I can't afford the water and I can't afford the car payment. This is all stuff that's left behind. And if you're not independently wealthy, then you need life insurance.
Sure. You
If
know,
you're not independently wealthy, you need accident insurance.
yep. I have had 3 calls this week from women because I'm a licensed insurance agent also.
Mhm.
Toni and I are both licensed insurance agents. And I've had 3 calls from women this week about either someone about to pass or not understanding how to read their insurance policy, not knowing what they're covered for. And women, we have to take the reins for this. We need to know, first of all, you need coverage and you need the right kind of coverage. And we're going to have to start talking about this. And let me just say this. I would like it if you could come on like the first Wednesday of every month so
Sure.
that we would have, because even in the little 30 minutes, we don't have enough to just dive into it. It's like
It's
just
true.
enough in order to kind of get our lips wet with our whiskey in regards to that. So if we could, have you on a weekly basis, just the
Okay.
first week, Wednesday of the month, and
Monthly
we
basis,
could
sure.
break down, yes, a monthly basis, thank you. And we could break down the different types of insurance, why you need it, and we could give the education to them because, I've had 3 this week, and one of them didn't know, well, 2 of them didn't know what they had, and their husbands are dying. One of the ladies didn't even know how to find her policy. And that is something really important. And here's the thing. If you don't know it and you can't find it, how do you know that that thing has been paid? The last thing you want is to have a loved one pass and you think you got coverage and turn out to be you have nothing at all. Nothing.
Or even worse, they paid for it, but it doesn't cover the death.
Oh, okay. Now, see, that's okay. Why do you think people don't like talking about life insurance? You tell me your opinion and I'll tell you mine.
I think because people have issues with money and people have issues with death. And those 2 issues converge on life insurance.
Okay.
I had someone say he was a man and he was an idiot. And he said he was a dumbass. He goes, well, if I get life insurance, then I'll probably die. I'm like, you're going to die anyway. Die with life insurance. Like, what the
and
hell's wrong with you?
and none of us getting out of this alive. So no.
Right. Like, tell me
Okay.
who hasn't died yet. 100%
Okay.
mortality. That's why I think people don't like to talk about life insurance.
And I think that one of the reasons why people don't like talking about life insurance goes hand in hand with other items. People don't like to feel like they don't know something. And it's an embarrassment to them at a certain age not to be able to talk about a topic that is so important. And I think that if we can remove the avenue of how you feel or how you think you look to someone else because you don't know something, we could be just miles up the road because no one knows everything. And you are a much bigger person to admit what you don't know and to get the information for you and your family than to be worrying about, oh shit, I don't know this and I feel bad asking the question and someone else seeing it. Because I'm big on telling people, who gives a fuck about what someone thinks about you? That's not your business.
True that shit. Like, let's put it like in something that's not in insurance. If your water supply was poisoned, wouldn't you want to know about that?
Well, yeah.
Even if you didn't understand everything they said, if it was my children drinking that water, I'd make the fuck sure that you sat down and explained to me what all those big, long words are and how that's going to affect my children and what the hell you're going to do about it. It's the same thing. And that's the reason why, too, I like to meet with people individually because it gives them who the hell knows it? No one wants to know about insurance.
It's not sexy, but it's needed.
It is exactly. And here's the truth of it is women, I'm going to speak as women, we have a responsibility to take care of the home.
Absolutely.
And if we don't understand the role of insurance in that, it's our job to find out. And as women to women, I didn't know anything. I thought
Correct.
insurance was something that grandparents bought for their grandkids. But that's not really that's not really the case. They don't want your insurance. They want you and they want whatever wealth you have. They want you to be wealthy and independently wealthy.
Absolutely. Okay, so here, can you see Wanda's question down at the bottom?
No, but let me shrink my screen so I can. Hold on. Wanda. Okay. So while helping my father-in-law, can I read this out loud? Is that okay?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
So while I'm helping my father clean his house, we found a savings bond in my husband's name valued at $100 and dated 1992. I have no idea what I need to do with it. Also, I found a savings account as a $50 initial deposit and annual percentage growth. This is good. This will get me started. I promise to call you soon, Toni, to discuss further. Yes, Wanda, we do, because savings bonds do have an index. We can check it out and see. But yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, she said savings bond in her husband's name or something of that
Yeah,
nature. Okay.
we can take care
So
of
is
that
that
for you.
something that you can help her with?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's no charge for them to call you. Is that correct? If they tell you they came, okay, tell them that so they understand.
So if you say that you met me through Whiskey, Women, and Wisdom, or Bad Girl 24/7, or because of Dr. St. James, there will be no charges for what I give you for advice and all of my services.
Absolutely. I think that is so great. And here's the thing. So the first Wednesday of the month, when it's not riding season, because when it's riding season,
I understand.
we will not be doing
I
women
understand.
and wisdom because we will be riding. But until riding season comes, ladies, pack your questions. Send Toni the questions, and then be prepared to be on here for financial education. On the first Wednesday of the month, we will have Toni Alexznder back on here to answer all the questions.
And I think, St. James, next month, I'm going to talk about how to get rid of debt in the strategy, in a strategic way that it takes up less time, less money, and you don't have to qualify for it. Because here's the truth of it. This is now February. Everyone's getting their credit card bills from the holidays. So let's figure out how we can pay that out and pay that off quicker, get rid of that debt and get that monkey off our back, and also talk about the insurance if we can.
And the other part of that, that's fine. And the other part of it is, with these income tax returns that are coming in,
and stimulus payments too.
Hey, those are perfect times if they can afford it, I would think, in order to start some type of small account.
Yep. Well, when you look at, I talk about making a financial plan, kind of like building a house.
Sure.
Right. They spend most of their time building a house in the foundation. And because the house stands on it. And it's the same thing with your financial plan. And the foundation really is going to be 4 corners for me. One is a budget, a working budget. Not a starve myself to death, so I'm going to eat one too many potato chips and cry my Ben & Jerry's diet.
Yeah, okay.
Budget. Okay. Yeah, like right. A workable budget.
Sure.
You need an emergency fund, women. We need an emergency fund. You need at least 3 to 6 months of your expenses in a separate account that's earning interest.
Absolutely.
You need a will. Let me say that one more time slowly. You need a will.
Why? Why do we need a will, Toni? Why?
Well, okay, thank you for asking that, St. James. So, number one, if you have children,
sure.
Wills are not so much about assets, it's about guardianship. And if you don't have a will, the state will decide where your children go. And so if you want a choice in who's going to take care of your kids when you go out on date night, you better freaking have a will. But it's also not just about assets, though it is. It's also about liabilities. If you don't have a will and you have debts, do you want your kids, do you want anyone that you love inheriting that debt? Then freaking get a will and probate. Do you understand that it costs you money to prove you don't have a will? Just have a fucking will. Just take a fucking will. Just get it. And it's so easy. If you're like, oh, I can't. Yes, you can. For $38, you can have an ironclad will.
Come on now. Don't play with me. $38?
You heard me.
38.
I'm licensed. It's $38.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And I'll sit with you, do a questionnaire. So that's the third column. The fourth one is life insurance. Because your whole financial house is built on income coming in.
Correct.
St. James, if you had a toaster that popped up $3,000 a month and paid your bills, would you insure that toaster?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because if something happened to the toaster, I need to still get my $3,000 a month.
Well, guess who's a toaster for their family?
The breadwinner.
Get insurance on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with
If
that.
you do it for a toast, you do it for the
I'd
breadwinner.
say I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have this platform to be able to help. And then, ladies, we're going to have other women on here. We have a police officer coming on that is going to be talking about how to be safe on your bike. We have a real estate developer coming on that will be talking to you about how you can buy homes, flip homes. We have a fitness guru expert coming on. So whoever it is, whatever information that you are needing that you want to find out about, then just send me a DM. I will run that person down. I will find that bitch for you, and we will put her on here as many times as need be in order for you to get the information you need. And you know, when I say bitch, I mean beautiful, intelligent, talented, confident, horny woman.
See, and I say bitch is a beauty in total control of herself.
Come on now. Come on now. I like both of those. I like both of those. All right. So Toni is my girl. So if you need help with anything, if you have questions, there are no dumb questions at all. Call her. Her number is down below. Send her a friend request through Facebook. Everything she talks about is confidential. And ladies, let me tell you, Dr. St. James here. Ladies, go be bad, go be bold. Find somebody's face to sit on because sex is important too.
It is.
Hey now.
I know.
Bye.
Bye, guys.